everybody, and welcome to the show. I got to tell you, I'm excited to be here today, although I think some of you may not be able to see me. Twitter is absolutely being blown up today, and I will tell you that the show is actually, it's not loading properly. So if you're not seeing the video or not seeing it right, that's why we will be, we're working on it. We're doing as much as we can, but eventually or ultimately the Twitter algorithm decides who can see what and whether or not it's going to load for you. In my case, it is not loading properly, so you may be getting a blank screen. I apologize if that's the case, and I guess that's just the nature of the way things work when Twitter land is exploding in this way. For those of you on Facebook or Rumble or elsewhere, thank you for being here. And boy, have we got a lot to talk about today, because apparently, if you are not of the belief that Trump is Jesus Christ and cannot make a mistake, you're no longer a supporter of his, at least according to Donald Trump. I gotta be honest with you guys. Every now and then, I just gotta wonder whether Trump's PR team is intentionally trying to get him to lose his support or not. I mean, there are serious snakes in the grass. This is a disaster. What's occurring in the White House right now is an absolute debacle, second to none. I got to tell you, I don't think I could actually write a script to come up with a way that would be worse for the president in terms of PR, for midterms, for everything that's going on. This is literally one of the most embarrassing things I've ever seen. And it's to call it a debacle is really an understatement. This Epstein thing has been mishandled from the beginning. This sits squarely in the lap of Susie Wiles and Pam Bondi. This is 100% the Wiles crew, which is basically Trump's close staff. And they have screwed this up from the beginning. Now, I don't know whether they're telling Trump the truth about this stuff or not. I don't know what Trump hears by any and all accounts. So if you know anything about the administration, if you're in or around the administration, you know one thing for sure. If you want access to the president, you have to get it through Susie Wiles. You cannot access the president in any other way. It's 100% impossible to get to President Trump without going through Wiles as chief of staff. Well, Wiles, as we all have talked about here numerous times, she worked with Ballard Partners, Mercury LLC, which is an Omnicom subsidiary, which is a WEF partner. She represented Mercury, worked with Gabby and Alibaba, Chinese place, all these guys. I mean, all of her people are connected and shady as hell. Pam Bondi also worked at Ballard Partners and represented Pfizer as an attorney immediately prior to getting there. So, I mean, there's a lot of shady things happening. And also, Pam Bondi was AG in Florida while Epstein was reportedly doing what he did with kids. Did you see anything happen there? Of course not. Of course you didn't. What you saw was a bunch of the same sort of crap and nonsense that you get anywhere else. And, that's really a phenomenal thing. So now we have Donald Trump out there telling us, his staunchest supporters, that we're not supporters. Oh my God, folks. So I have so much to talk about on this. I want to, before I forget, because I'm going to forget today, I have too much going on. Please support us. GiveSendGo.com/Renslaw. GiveSendGo.com/Renslaw. We need your help, need your support. Become a monthly giver, weekly giver, yearly giver, or just a one-time giver. Whatever you give, we appreciate. But we do need your help. We do need your support. We need your backing. And you guys keep us going. Also, make sure you go to TomRenz.com, www.tomrenz.com. You'll find us right here. And check out our partners and affiliates. They're up here. And don't forget Block Trust and Dulsa. But scroll down. Today we're focusing on Mycronic Silver. Mycronic Silver, wonderful, wonderful product. Numerous, does so many things for your immune system, your health, so many things. Wonderful, wonderful product. If you're not feeling good, get on this. You can use it for all sorts of things. But check these guys out. They're good people. We love the Mycronic Silver people. And again, go to TomRenz.com and use checkout code RENZ. Checkout code RENZ. You see it right down here? You get 10% off. 10% off. So make sure you're checking that out. All right. Let's just jump right into it, right? Let's jump right into it because we need to get into this. And let's start out right here, right? This is my X feed, which is really the only feed you need to look at. And if you look here, we've got President Trump's truth post from this morning. Right? Let's look at it. Let's look at this in great detail because we need to. President Trump says the radical left Democrats have hit pay dirt again. Just like with the fake and fully discredited Steele dossier, the lying 51 intelligence agents, the laptop from hell, which Dems swore had come from Russia. No, it came from Hunter Biden's bathroom. And even the Russia scam itself, a totally fake and made up story used in order to hide crooked Hillary Clinton's big loss in 2016 presidential election. These scams and hoaxes are all the Democrats are good at. Well, apparently they're very good at it. It's all they have. They're no good at governing, no good at policy, no good at picking winning candidates. Those things are true. Also, unlike Republicans, they stick together like glue. Their new scam is what we will forever call the Jeffrey Epstein hoax, and my past supporters, why the past, have bought into this BS hook, line, and sinker. See that, folks? I didn't say a bad word there. They haven't learned their lesson and probably never will, even after being conned by the lunatic left for 8 long years. I have had more success in 6 months than perhaps any president in our country's history. And all these people want to talk about with strong prodding by the fake news and the success-starved Dems is the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. Let these weaklings continue forward and do the Democrats' work. Don't even think about talking of our incredible and unprecedented success because I don't want their support anymore. Thank you for all your attention in this matter. Make America great again. Well, making America great again, Mr. President, with all due respect, usually includes getting rid of pedophiles and, making people equally accountable under the law. Just because you're rich doesn't mean you should get away with murder or child rape. So I don't know, Mr. President. I don't agree with you on this one. And I don't have to because I'm not a part of a cult. And guess what? MAGA is a movement. It's not you. You lead the movement in most cases, but you're not leading it here because you're listening to crooked Susie Wiles, crooked Pam Bondi, and your crooked administration, the snakes that are around you. Now, here's my response. I said, Mr. President, and I tagged him on it because and I also replied to him on Truth Social because, frankly, I don't care what he thinks. I voted for him. I supported for him. I went out and did more. I traveled around this country. We did rallies for him. We talked on his behalf. We did everything we could to get him elected. And you're damn well straight that I'm going to say what I feel about this. I said, are we as wrong on this as we were the mRNA and COVID? The stuff that Deborah Birx admitted you in her book that she lied to you about every day. We continue to support you and will fight for most of your agenda. But both Democrat and Republican administrations, including yours, have acknowledged the Epstein trafficking ring for 3 decades, and there have been criminal convictions. Your or someone's DOJ edited the tapes outside his prison cell. Did you guys see this? There's now 3 missing minutes, not just one. These were stitched together. The whole thing's fraud. We can all accept that Biden's corrupt DOJ probably altered the evidence, but this is about kids getting trafficked, and our kids are why most of us fought for you. Mr. President, newsflash. I didn't send my kids off to military school. I kept them around because I wanted to see them. And I fought for 5.5 years to take care of them. I'm going to continue fighting for my kids and every damn kid in this country because they all deserve a chance. And I'm going to fight against child molesters and child rapists, even if they're elites. Even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's hard for you to deal with. Mr. President, we still love you, but the advice you are getting on this might be as bad as advice you got on COVID. I'm concerned that if you don't fix this, the midterms will be a loss, and then we will deal with impeachment nonsense. Our country needs you, and your supporters have no choice but to tell you the actual truth, since your advisors clearly are not. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that I did not endear myself to the president with that because he wants me to kiss his ass. And I'm not gonna. These are child rapists. I am not okay with this. And P.S., the president himself has talked about this extensively. Now, I'm going to go through all these different things. Here, by the way, 2002, Donald Trump, quote, I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy. He's a lot of fun to be with. He even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do. And many of them are on the younger side, no doubt about it. Jeffrey enjoys his social life. That's 2002. Now, that's before everybody realized that he was a pedophile, even though it's been talked about since 1994, arguably. 2019, Donald Trump says, I had a falling out with him. I haven't spoken to him in 15 years. I was not a fan of his. That I can tell you. I believe that fully. Once they found out that this guy was trafficking kids, because a lot of people liked, the story is that amongst the elites, a lot of people liked Epstein. They didn't really know what he was doing. They didn't really care what he was doing. But he apparently was a likable child trafficker, I guess. I don't know. So Trump liked him. And then when Trump found out what he was doing, he said, get the hell away from me, which is good. I believe that. And I know Donald Trump. I don't for a second believe that Donald Trump did anything wrong with Epstein stuff. Not for a second. I think he's doing wrong with the investigation, but I don't think he did anything. I don't think he's part of the list or anything like that. Now in 2019, this is during Trump's first administration, by the way, he says, he's talking about Epstein and Mar-a-Lago. He said, I threw him out. He tried to take recruit from me, a girl that was not of age that worked at the club. He was doing stuff he shouldn't be doing. 2019, Trump said this. Trump said that Epstein was pulling girls that were not of age. Trump said it in 2019, folks. Did he forget? 2020 on Jiz Maxwell. I wish her well, because he knew she was going to jail, right? Now 2025 rolls around and Trump's out here, ripping us because we care about this. Listen, I'm sorry. You're full of shit, Mr. President. You know damn well what's going on here. And I don't know whether you're believing your Susie Wiles crew or not, but here's the deal. Here's how this is coming down. And I don't care whether anybody likes it or not. This is James O'Keefe. Okay, James O'Keefe. And I want you to see this. He says, if you've committed horrible sex crimes with Epstein, you are in the clear. If you manufacture a vaccine, you say injuries, you are in the clear. If you are an American journalist, you'll be raided by the FBI and spend millions of dollars enriching lawyers. And see this. This is America, right? And then he posts this. O'Keefe. Well, you can tell me O'Keefe doesn't support Trump? Trump is losing this narrative, and he's going to continue losing it. We're not okay with this. Here's another example. This is some street art in LA, right? So this is pop culture. And admittedly, it's LA, so it's leftist as can be, but Trump's losing this battle bad, and his approach is only making it worse. Look, they got him eating the Epstein files. It looks terrible, right? It's pretty viral, though, right? It's pretty viral. And across the board, a lot of this stuff is going viral. Nobody believes this, right? So Trump's reaction to this whole thing, he comes out and he says, well, we're going to be a little more transparent. Now he comes back, and here's Trump today. Let's look at this. Oh, we got to get some sound here. Hold on here. Let's start this over. So this is Trump today at a press conference.
All this intrigue over the Epstein files, but I do want to ask you to clarify something you said this morning. You said this was all a hoax. Has your attorney general told you this was a hoax? What evidence have you seen of that?
Now, she specifically asks, did your attorney general tell you this is a hoax? Now, here's the deal. Someone told Donald Trump this is a hoax. Who? Because that's pretty damn relevant, isn't it? I would say it's pretty important to know who said that. I don't know who it was, but someone did. Now, you would think that Trump would say, yeah, Bondi filled me in. She did her homework on this. But this is what he actually said.
Attorney General, no, I know it's a hoax. It's started by...
No, it wasn't my attorney general. No, I know it's a hoax. How do you know that, Mr. President? Have you done the work? Did you look into the videos? Did you look into the altered videos? Did you see that they were altered?
Democrats. It's been run by the Democrats for 4 years. You had Christopher Wray and these characters and Comey before him.
Now, that's true. That's true. And I 100% can get behind the fact that the Democrats probably altered and played with the evidence. I don't believe that the evidence is available in a way that is reflective of what it actually is at this point, right? I'm 100% confident that this is a load of crap. But don't tell me that means Epstein didn't do anything.
And it's a bad group. It started, actually, look at the Steele dossier that turned out to be a total hoax.
Now, wait a second. Steele dossier. Now, I'm pretty sure that Trump keeps talking to me about this guy that died 3 or 4 years ago. Steele dossier is a hell of a lot longer than 3 or 4 years ago. So which one is it? Are we moving forward or not?
The 51 agents, the intelligence, so-called intelligence agents, it was a hoax. It's all been a big hoax. It's perpetrated by the Democrats. And
it started in the 90s, I guess, because people have been talking about Epstein since the 90s. So the Clinton administration, W. Bush, who I guess is another Democrat, you got Obama, you got Trump 1, you got Biden, now you got Trump 2. So I guess for 30 years we've been talking about this and it's been a hoax. I'm pretty sure that predates Brennan and Comey.
some stupid Republicans and foolish Republicans fall into the net, and so they try and do the Democrats' work.
Was I stupid when I supported you, Mr. President? Was I stupid when I spent my personal money to run all over the country to try and get you elected? Was I stupid when I backed you and fought against everyone that attacked you? Where was the stupid, Mr. President? Let's talk about that.
The Democrats are good for nothing other than these hoaxes. They're bad for policy. They're bad for picking candidates that can get elected. Like in New York, we have a communist running. He may get elected too, actually, but he'll destroy the city.
That's true.
No, it's I call it the Epstein hoax. It takes a lot of time and effort. Instead of talking about the great achievements, we've had a great gentleman yesterday, as you know, went on CNBC and he made the statement that Trump may go down as the greatest president of all in the United States. And instead of talking about the things we've achieved, we've had tremendous achievement. They're wasting their time with.
Okay, I'm going to take an issue with this, Mr. President. You've done an amazing amount of stuff yourself, but not one thing you've done will survive the next president. Your executive orders, your trade deals will all be undone on day one. You've passed no laws, and you've put no one in jail. Not one person of substance has gone to jail. I am sick of being told, well, we're stupid. We believe it. No, listen, I'm watching this. I'm looking at the evidence. Here's the evidence. We've got 30 years of history of this guy being a child molester. We got President Trump admitting that this guy's got issues in the past. We've got all this nonsense going on. And you're going to tell me now that we should be focusing on the successes. Well, which ones? Who have you arrested, Mr. President? Who has your AG arrested? Show me one person. We just had the story yesterday from the Gateway Pundit that they are just now opening investigations into the Democrats. Just now. Where's she been? Where's Pam Bondi been? What's she been doing? If she wasn't investigating this 6 months ago, what was she doing other than spending her time on Fox News? But yet I'm stupid, right?
A guy who obviously had some very serious problems, who died 3-4 years ago. I'd rather talk about the success we have with.
You want the guy who died 3 or 4 years ago? Didn't you just tell me about the Steele dossier and the stuff from 2016?
The economy, the best we've ever had, and all of the things we've done, including the Middle East. I mean, you see it. Instead, they want to talk about the Epstein hoax. And the sad part is it's people that are really doing the Democrats' work. They're stupid people. Yeah, go ahead.
There's some stupid people out there, Mr. President, but they're mostly in your cabinet and your advisors. Here's another little clip here. Now, we've had some trouble getting this one to play, so I'm gonna try and get this one to go here. We're gonna refresh this, see if it'll go. But this is a really important clip.
About the Epstein issue. Does that mean that you're effectively disowning any supporters who are now calling?
I lost a lot of faith in certain people. Yeah, I lost because they got duped by the Democrats. The Democrats are good for nothing.
Okay, and that's about all we can get out of that clip. But so he's lost faith in his supporters because we've been duped by the Democrats, have we? Now, I don't want to say that there's some duping that's going on, but I don't know, Mr. President. Operation Warp Speed and mRNA, Deborah Birx literally wrote a book talking about the fact that her job was to lie to you every single day, which is where Operation Warp Speed came in, which is why the 2020 election was able to be stolen because of the COVID lockdowns and everything else. I think there's some duping going on, but I don't think it's us being duped. The people who are looking at the 30 years of evidence that Epstein issue is a real issue, I don't think we're the ones being duped. I think that the guy who's sitting there listening to Pam Bondi and Susie Wiles, who are both conflicted, he might be having some issues, but I don't think that's us. I don't. I think we, your base, your supporters who still love you, whether you like us or not, whether you call us stupid or not, whether you call us, dumb or not, we still love you. We still appreciate what you do on most issues. But, I don't belong to the Donald Trump cult. There is no cult for me. I look at every issue. I voted for, I supported, I fought for Donald Trump because I want him to make America great again. He is doing a great job on economic issues. He's doing a great job on trade issues. He's doing a great job on, he's cleaned up this transgender nonsense. He shut down the board. He's done wonderful things. Now, granted, these things can all be undone day one with the new administration, but for his part, he's done incredible work. Now, that does not mean I have to support him on everything he does. He's fast-tracking mRNA and saRNA. He just approved mRNA in kids. Bobby Kennedy's not allowed to touch mRNA. I mean, listen, I disagree with him on that. I do. I also disagree with him on the Epstein issue. And I'm sorry, him telling me I'm stupid isn't a legitimate argument. I'm happy to debate this with him. I would love to have the president come on stage and debate this with me. I would love to do that. But I wouldn't want to do that anyways because I'd feel pretty bad when he got his ass handed to him. This is absurd, folks. This is 30 years of evidence. 30 years. And he's going to tell us there's nothing to see here. We shouldn't care about the rich guys that were screwing kids. We should just pretend it's okay. We should just ignore this. And we're stupid because we believe we believe that the Democrats this. Here, this is, I love this. This is what we've got here. This is what we're hearing now. It's equivalent to being peed on and told it's raining. Thank you, Chris Blow. Yes, that is exactly what we have going on here. This is exactly what we have happening. It is absurd. It is absolutely absurd. So Trump's out here, gaslighting his staunchest supporters. Staunchest, right? I mean, listen, because I'm catching hell on social media from all sides because on one side I got people who are saying, how can you still support a guy that's turned a blind eye to child molesters? And then on the other side I got a guy, oh, you're undermining Trump. I'm not doing either. I'm doing exactly what I have done from the beginning. I look at issues, I weigh those issues, I determine whether they're valid or not, and then from there, I do what's necessary to ensure that I fight for what I think is correct. I don't care whether what's right is easy or good for someone. I don't care about the politics of what's right. At the end of the day, I don't care if I am the last man on the internet talking about this. I don't care if I'm the last man in the courtroom fighting for this. It is not okay for rich elite pedophiles to get away with things because they're rich and elite. Prince Andrew, really? How much evidence do you need to say that maybe we ought to consider looking into this further? How much do you need? How much evidence how many different, kids that were trafficked by Epstein have to come forward and settle lawsuits? I understand that the data, the evidence was probably manipulated. It was probably destroyed. It was probably altered. And we had a lot of bad guys playing with this evidence for a lot of years. No question. But everybody knows about Clinton and his time with the Lolita Express. Everybody knows about Bill Gates. Everybody knows about these stories. Everybody knows this is common knowledge. You can't tell us it's not real. It's been going on forever. Now I got a guy on Twitter. I want to read this comment. You have to understand that this was a blackmail campaign, was being used to overthrow the government by the surveillance state. I agree with that. Being reckless with information gives them exactly what they want, which is to keep doing it. Here's the deal. The only way to shut down the blackmail ring is to acknowledge it. You cannot shut down a blackmail ring without acknowledging it. 100%. 100%. And at the end of the day, I'm going to tell you guys, this blackmail ring is still alive and well. There are still people who are being blackmailed, who are in very powerful positions. And until someone goes to jail for it, that will continue. I don't care whether Trump has actual evidence or not. It exists. Whether it's been sold to our allies, I say with air quotes, who have, then used it, from abroad. Now, there's a lot of people who are suggesting that both the UK and Israel and several other places may have this data and may be using it. I don't know. I have no evidence on that. But it's certainly something that we ought to be recognizing. Listen, Epstein didn't do this by himself. He wasn't a lone wolf. It's almost certain he was working with our CIA and a number of other intelligence agencies. And it's absolutely certain that he was selling that information. Where did he get his money, folks? What did Epstein do to get rich? Why is he filthy rich? What did he do? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. So, but he is and was filthy, filthy rich. How did that happen? Right? How did that happen, folks? How did Epstein get so wealthy if, he didn't really do anything, just all this money started showing up? Explain that to me. Now, I think it's an interesting exercise here. So I did some searching. Now, just in case you think that, Trump is right and this is just something that was made out or made up, here's a few different things that I think are probably relevant. A few different quotes. So Jeffrey Bierman, he was the U.S. attorney in the Southern District of New York, and he was there during Trump's first term. And on July 8th of 2019, Jeffrey Bierman said, quote, "As alleged, Jeffrey Epstein abused underage girls for years, operating a scheme in which girls he victimized would recruit others for Epstein to exploit and abuse. Epstein exploited girls who were vulnerable to abuse, enticed them with cash payments, and escalated his conduct to include sex acts, often occurring at his residence in the Upper East Side of Manhattan." Okay. He was in jail, by the way, folks. I don't know if you know that. Did you know that Jeffrey Epstein was in jail when he got killed? Suicided? Yeah. Why was he in jail if he wasn't doing anything? I'm just saying that maybe that's worth considering. Bierman notes, the indictment unsealed today alleges that between 2002 and 2005, Epstein sexually exploited and abused dozens of underage girls by enticing them to engage in sex acts with him for money. Epstein worked with several employees and associates to ensure he had a steady supply of minor victims to abuse. He paid several of those victims to recruit others. And here's the thing. Everybody knew what this was about, right? This is William Sweeney, Assistant Director of the FBI. The girls were recruited in a variety of ways, usually by employees of Epstein. We put the predators behind bars, regardless of predators' power, wealth, or perceived connections. That was under Trump administration number one. Not number two, number one, right? It's kind of important, I would say. Let's see here. We'll get more. James O'Neill, NYPD Commissioner. Today's charges serve as a warning to individuals who continue to prey on some of our society's most vulnerable population. We're coming for you. NYPD will work with our law enforcement partners to eradicate trafficking of children in our city and our nation and bring justice to victims of these heinous crimes. Alexander Acosta, former U.S. Attorney for Southern District of Florida, later U.S. Secretary of Labor. Quote, the Palm Beach State Attorney's Office was ready to let Epstein walk free. No jail time, nothing. Prosecutors in my former office found this to be completely unacceptable, and they became involved. Well, why? What were they involved with? If Epstein wasn't doing anything wrong, shouldn't we just give him a high five and said, go away? I don't understand this. This seems very confusing to me, folks. These quotes are from former officials who, had positions under the first Trump White House. Why is it that they're talking about Epstein if nothing happened? Alexander Acosta again. We now have 12 years of hindsight, and we sit here judging it again with hindsight. The goal here was straightforward: to put Epstein behind bars, ensure he registers as a sexual offender, provide victims with means to seek restitution, and protect the public by putting them on notice sexual offenders living in their communities. I don't understand this. Epstein didn't do anything wrong, did he? Or did he? Ben Sass. DOJ's crooked deal with Epstein effectively shut down investigations in the child sex trafficking ring and protected his co-conspirators in other states. Americans should be outraged. Ben Sass, the U.S. Senator. Pam Bondi. This Department of Justice is following through on President Trump's commitment to transparency and lifting the veil on disgusting actions of Jeffrey Epstein and his co-conspirators. What? Another quote from Pam Bondi. The FBI was reviewing tens of thousands of videos of Jeffrey Epstein with children or child porn. Folks, am I missing something here? How about this? How about Bill Barr? You know, the guy that Trump had as the first AG, because he's great at finding AGs, right? I was appalled to learn that Jeffrey Epstein was found dead from an apparent suicide while in federal custody. Mr. Epstein's death raises serious questions that must be answered. Well, they still aren't. Let me assure you that this case will continue on against anyone who is complicit with Epstein. Co-conspirators should not rest easy. Well, I don't know about that. Barr was aware of this. Not that he's a good guy. Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, everybody around Trump has acknowledged this. But he's going to tell me we're stupid for listening to his people. I don't think we're stupid, folks. We've just trusted him and all the people around him and all the people that have been there for decades, right? Now, if you need further evidence, guess what happened today? The DOJ rejected Ghislaine Maxwell, the SCOTUS rejected Giz Maxwell's appeal, right? DOJ rejected it in response, right? So the DOJ fought against Gizzy's appeal. And why would they do that? I mean, I'm pretty sure she was convicted of trafficking, wasn't she? I mean, she's in jail for like 20 years. I don't know. Why is she in jail at all? Shouldn't she be released if there was no trafficking? I mean, she was convicted, by the way, of 5 counts involving sex trafficking of a minor and conspiracy. Trafficking, huh? That seems a little interesting because I thought there was something. Why is it that Maxwell is in jail and the Supreme Court didn't even grant her appeal? And the case was a good case. It could have been appealed because there's a dispute in the law. It's about the way plea deals are read and agreed to and non-prosecution agreements. There's a different way that's interpreted in the Second Circuit where Maxwell is. And so Maxwell's in jail for trafficking minors, but Trump's telling me that there's nothing to see here. Now, if Trump was smart, he would have stayed out of this, let Bondi take the heat, and then fired her. Because she mishandled this on an egregious level. I mean, this isn't just a little bit off. This one, and I got to wonder, why is he defending her? I mean, this is the guy who spent his entire first term saying you're fired to everybody. Now he's standing behind the most useless AG I've ever seen. She's literally arrested nobody of substance. Not one Democrat. Not one big name Democrat behind anything. And they're only now starting their investigation, according to the Gateway Pundit story yesterday. What are we doing here, folks? What is Trump doing? Now, quote, this is from Ghislaine Maxwell's attorney. I'd be surprised if President Trump knew his lawyers were asking the Supreme Court to let the government break a deal. He's the ultimate deal maker, and I'm sure he'd agree that when the United States gives it word, it should keep it. And they're talking about why... Again, the lawyer's perspective is that Giz Maxwell is in prison because the government didn't keep its word on a plea deal. I disagree with that. I think that the reason that she's in jail is because she's a child trafficker and belongs in jail, and I don't think that that's an issue. But at the end of the day, the SCOTUS, the U.S. government's opposing this, and SCOTUS is likely going to reject this. So, I mean, folks, this is a clown show. This is an absolute clown show. We know what's going on here. We all see what's happening. It's nothing. It's nothing that's. It's nothing that we don't understand. It's nothing that we can't see. How does Trump expect us to not see and not hear what's really right in our faces? Yet he's going to call us names. He's going to oh, I don't like you guys. I don't want you as a supporter. I don't care whether you want me as a supporter. Why would I care about that? I mean, what is that? I either support your policies or I don't. I don't care whether you want me to support them. I really don't. I mean, he's talking, his tweet is absurd. Now, here's the thing, though. Thomas Massie, who Trump has been ripping and wants to primary, put together a resolution to make all the Epstein files public. He not only put it forth, he's got a bunch of co-sponsors. I think MTG's co-sponsor, a bunch of people are co-sponsoring. Congress hears this, right? Now, granted, Massey's been on the receiving end of Trump being all sorts of grumpy here lately, because Massey's an idealist. He pretty much goes where he thinks he ought to go and doesn't really care. But I think this was a masterstroke. I think putting this resolution forward is huge, because we, the people, are way, way, way in support of this. We want to know what happened with Epstein, and we want the elites in jail. I'll tell you what, MAGA, and actually a lot of leftists, we want equal treatment under the law. We want to see evil people go to jail. And the people who were molesting kids or raping children or whatever they were doing with Jeffrey Epstein, we want them in jail. I don't know how Trump can misread the room this badly. Now, here's the thing. Trump does have a solution here. Let's say, for example, and I firmly believe this is possible, that the Democrats, through the Biden administration, manipulated, changed, hid, destroyed data on the Epstein files. I believe that's very possible, very reasonable. If that happened, why aren't we investigating that? Why aren't we looking for proof that the files were manipulated? Why aren't we digging into that? I'm going to be real honest with you. Some of these old things from 2016 are far less important to me than that, because the child rape rings are still going on. The Steele dossier is way behind us. I'll grant you it's important, but it's not relevant now. Child rape rings and American officials or globalist billionaires around the world being blackmailed, that's as important today as it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago. It doesn't matter. If it's still happening, it's still happening, and it is. The Epstein issue is crucial. It's crucial to our national security. And how does Trump not see that blackmail is probably one of the core mechanisms they're using to undermine his agenda? I don't understand this. How can someone this smart be this dense? So, and listen, please don't tell me that Trump's playing 5D chess. There's no 5D chess anymore. I mean, now I'm going to disagree with this, right? So here's a human being saying he doesn't care anymore, no more elections for him. I disagree with you, and I'll tell you why. When this is said and done, we got midterms coming up. If Trump loses the midterms, he will be impeached. If the Democrats are in power, Trump will be impeached, and they will boot his butt out of office as quick as they can. From there, do you think the Democrats won't seek retribution? You think they won't come after him again? Of course they will. If Trump wants to keep his family safe from that sort of crap, from more lawfare, from more this, more that, guess what? He better get some accountability here. How many arrests have we had? How many people have been put in jail by Pam Bondi and her DOJ? Just saying, I don't think the number's any higher than 0. Could be wrong. So what do you think's going to happen? Do you think the Democrats are just going to call it, nah, don't worry about it. There's nothing we can do about it anyways. It's just that, right? Folks, this is a foundational issue in America. If we can't protect kids, what are we doing? I don't know. With all due respect to the president, love what he's doing on a lot of fronts. Appreciate the foreign policy stuff mostly. I mean, I didn't love the war stuff with Iran, but love the trade deals generally. Love the tariff concept. Love what he's doing, on a lot of things. But this Epstein thing, and it's just wrong. I'm sorry, folks. It is just wrong. And I can't get behind it. I can't support it. And I'm not going to. I'm just not going to. This is a disaster. It's a debacle. And it's something that we really need to fight and keep fighting. And I don't know. It just... Now, I'm going to disagree with this, right? Here's a comment from Maryland Forever. The only answer that makes sense is that Trump is implicated in Epstein files. I'm a 3-time Trump voter, donated, blah, blah, blah. But it is what it is. He's panicking about the Epstein files, cannot allow transparency. Now, I don't know that I would agree that he's implicated in any credible way. Listen, Comey and Brennan could have wrote anything they wanted into there. Doesn't mean it's real. And at the end of the day, if that's the case, he should be investigating who was messing with the files, right? That should be the number one thing. But we're not seeing that. We're seeing just ignore this and move on, right? Now, here we go. Perhaps his 5D chess is splitting the Republicans. Don't forget he was responsible for Pelosi-style politics, RNC polling the pre-marriage, pro-life playing. Do you love that? No, I don't love that he did the pro-life and this, that, and other with the GOP. I don't think there's any 5D chess here. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's a bad decision. I think he's being manipulated by some advisors that really suck, and that's what I think is going on. Now, I do have this from you. Maybe the government will collapse after the truth. That could be. It could be that bad. I wouldn't be surprised. I think if we knew the full extent of which blackmail was occurring in Washington, D.C., I think it might actually collapse the government. But better to know and to clean house and to get through it. I mean, that's what we hired Trump for, was to drain the swamp, not to make excuses for it. And that's what we've got is excuses for the swamp. So, end of the day, I am not okay with this. I'm not going to shut up. I don't care whether Trump likes me as a supporter or not. I still support him on most things. I continue to think his handling of the Epstein thing is maybe as bad as his handling of the COVID thing, if that's possible. But, at the end of the day, we have to keep talking. We have to keep sharing. We have to keep discussing this. We got to keep getting the word out. We got to keep the pressure up. This isn't going away. Breaks my heart to see his approval ratings tank so badly. What did you think was going to happen when you decided to let rich child molesters off and then continue to go after the nobodies that you go after? Could there be a more important tenet of MAGA than equal justice under the law? I mean, we didn't like it when the FBI raided Melania's underwear drawer. Why do you think we would like it, if the FBI is letting rich pedophiles get away with, raping kids? We don't. We want equal justice under the law. And that's what we're demanding. That's what this is about. All right. Let's move into a couple other things. Another conspiracy theory coming true here, folks. Pacific Palisades. California passes a bill to buy fire-ravaged Palisades for low-income apartments. Yeah. So, LA wanted to be a 15-minute city, that whole thing. So, Palisades got wiped out. They're doing everything they can to block any sort of permits being issued, anything like that. And now they're passing a bill to allow the purchase of all these Pacific Palisades properties so that they can build low-income apartments. Isn't that sweet, folks? Don't you love California? Now, it seems to me that a few of us, like yours truly, it seems to me that we talked about this as a land grab. It seemed pretty obvious to us at the time, right? All the reports of, the fires being intentionally started, Karen Bass making sure there was no water in the fire hydrants. I mean, all the stuff, it looked like it was an intentional thing. Folks, of course, it's a land grab. We know what it is. Let's pay attention here. But it's interesting to see that California is passing legislation on this because, well, it's like an admission, right? So they passed Senate Bill 549, and it allows them to essentially use public funds to buy those lots and developing into low income housing. I don't know, folks. I don't know. It's California. What can I say? I got another one for you. Another one, because we need more conspiracy theories that are accurate. By the way, there's a conspiracy theory that Jeffrey Epstein molested children. Another conspiracy theory. Rena protester CEO rejects $20 million contract to stage anti-Trump protests. Headline. So, quoting from the article, free speech in the U.S. was never intended to serve as a perpetual vehicle for permanent protest. However, over the past decade, it's morphed into a billion-dollar industry fueled by dark money, far left-aligned NGOs, and backed by opaque funding sources, including leftist billionaires and entities based in countries classified as foreign adversaries. Isn't it crazy to see how much money is getting spent in our country to disrupt our country? Why hasn't Pam Bondi arrested any of the people doing this? These anti-ICE protests, some of these pro-Palestine guys, there's paid protesters. Everybody knows that. You can see this. When your paid protesters end up getting violent, there's crimes there. They could arrest people. They could dig into who's paying these protesters. They could shut down these Democrat leftist networks. Where's Pam Bondi? How many arrests has she made? How many arrests has she made to shut down the riots, the ICE protests? How many arrests has she made of globalist billionaires, of Democrats? How many arrests has she made of anyone of substance? Answer is still zero, folks. But we look at this, and there's just such coordination, and we can see it. It's across the board, right? We got a bunch of these guys. They show up at these different things. It's the same people, these Rena mobs. I mean, Rush Limbaugh was talking about the Rena mobs way back then. God bless him. God rest his soul. He was talking about the Rena mobs. That's crazy, folks. It's crazy. Well, now we know, right? So this guy, let's see, what's this guy's name? CEO of Crowds on Demand. Did you know Crowds on Demand is a company? Crowds on Demand is a company, and what they do is they sell you crowds, right? He rejected a $20 million offer for a nationwide large-scale demonstrations across the country. I mean, I'm just saying. Do you think that those demonstrations didn't occur? Anybody remember the ICE protests? Anybody seeing what's going on here? These are all paid protesters. The whole thing was fake. It's like Kamala Harris's, when she's running around, how many people showed up at her rallies. There's the same people all the time. They got bussed in. They're Rena mobs. This is more just fallacy, more nonsense that's occurring, and it's coming from all over the place. It's really, really appalling. All right. I want to move into this, and it's this Yale study. And there's a really important takeaway from it that I hadn't really dug into a while back, but I wanted to get into this because it's really important. So the Yale study, it actually confirms that over time there's an increase in spike protein in your system. An increase if you've been vaccinated with the COVID vaccines. Now remember, Trump is telling us that, we're idiots because we don't believe his staff, but his staff convinced him that mRNA COVID vaccines are good. So let's talk about this, right? An increase. How would there be an increase in the spike protein presence in your body over time, post-vaccine? How could that work? So when you get the vaccines, we were told that they go into your arm, and they originally said they diminish in like 3 days and whatever, and then you're fine. Something's lingering, right? Because your body is continuing to make the spike protein. It's continuing to do it from something. Something's telling it to do it. And that's what the vaccines do, is they convince your body to make the spike protein. Now, the spike protein's the pathogen. It makes you sick. So having the spike protein in your body is a terrible idea. But regardless, the spike protein shouldn't be continued to be created, months or years later. According to the Yale study, they stopped collecting data 709 days post-vax, and there were still high concentrations of spike proteins. Why? How does that happen, folks? Because the vaccine's supposed to go away. Unless it lingers, unless it integrates into your DNA and modifies your genetics. Unless it integrates into your body so it becomes a part of it. Unless there's something else going on, you shouldn't see these high concentrations of the spike protein 2 years later. Why is that happening? Well, it's happening for the reason that we said. We said this stuff will integrate in your DNA and it's going to screw with you, and that's the way it's going to be. We all know that that's what's happening, but no one wants to admit it. Now, we just fast-tracked the Moderna vaccine for kids. We just put that in there. And we're fast-tracking saRNA, which is even worse. Folks, what's happening here? What's happening? We were lied to about everything related to COVID and mRNA, just like Donald Trump was. The science is catching up to what I've been saying for 5 years, right? I didn't need to base it on science. I had evidence. But the science is confirming all the evidence that I presented. Donald Trump was lied to. He was fooled. He was misled about the first COVID. And it was done so that they could steal the 2020 election, make trillions of dollars, and basically try to enslave humanity. It almost worked, folks. It almost worked. The 709 days with the increase in spike protein is a huge deal because it shows that we were dead accurate when we said that this stuff is going to get into your system. It could integrate into your DNA and it could make things worse. Now, admittedly, this was a pretty small cohort. I think 40 some people. So it's a very small cohort, but it was more than enough to demonstrate and suggest that you need to be aware that this is a wide-scale issue. I mean, it's not like it might happen. It's a disaster. Okay, why does that matter so much? Well, it matters so much because I have Donald Trump right here, let me show you, telling us that we're foolish because we believe these fake news, that we're quote, weaklings because we believe this fake news on Epstein. I don't think that that's what's going on here. I don't think there's anything weak or, insane about this. I think what's actually happening is the same thing that happened with COVID. I think Donald Trump is being lied to by his advisors. I think they're misleading him. And I think that he's falling for it again. And I know for those of you telling me that Trump's a genius and he's got a plan, this doesn't sit well. But I got to be honest with you, I don't care. I just don't. At the end of the day, I voted for Trump. I elected Trump. I helped fight for him. I helped get him. I did everything I could. That doesn't oblige me to be like a cultish fan. And I certainly don't think he's beyond being human. I think he can be lied to and manipulated. I think that's what's happening there. So now, just so that I don't forget, and just so that I can bring this up. Meanwhile, there's Victor Davis Hanson was he just did a podcast here recently, and he's ripping John Brennan, right? And when he did this, he did a real good job. I thought it was a great thread by Vigilant Fox. Vigilant Fox shared the thread, but Hanson talked about this, and he talked about it about Brennan being a career politician, career bureaucrat, and kind of the corruption that goes with that. And he goes through this. Hanson does. He goes through and he talks about how there was a cover up for Obama's drone war, some of the Hunter Biden laptop story, the collusion hoax with Russia, that all these things, they all come back and tie in with Brennan. I absolutely believe that Comey, Brennan, and the Biden DOJ may have manipulated the evidence around Epstein. 100%, I believe that. I think it's not only possible, I think it's very, very likely. That said, I don't care. If that's the case, if the evidence was manipulated, then by all means, we should be investigating who did that. Why aren't we looking into that? I mean, how can we be so blind to not think that all of the data Epstein had on all of his clients is kept somewhere? Is there a vault? I don't know. I'm pretty sure we'll never see it. But somewhere this evidence exists, right? So somewhere this stuff. We have got to get to this evidence. We've got to figure out who's still got the real evidence. We've got to investigate who manipulated the evidence. We've got to put these people in jail. And someone, for God's sakes, needs to tell Trump to quit ripping and alienating his base, because his support is collapsing. People are not happy. He got ratioed on Truth Social with this first thing with Epstein. I don't know how he's doing now. I know that I commented. But folks, none of us are stupid enough to believe that Epstein wasn't a thing. None of us are stupid enough to believe that mRNA is safe and effective. None of us are. The truth has come out. We're not going to go back to sleep. And we have a duty to stand by the president. And to do that, that means us speaking out. President's making a mistake. If you support MAGA and if you support Donald Trump, now more than ever is the time for you to speak out and to really argue and push that we've got to go a different direction with things. Because right now, we're in a bad spot, and it's not getting any better. All right. I appreciate you guys listening. We will be back very soon.